Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Today, the presidential candidates and their agents were actually summoned by IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati and the Commission at a city hostel, the Country Club and the Wits Hotel. And so the circular had been sent, rather the invitation for the meeting had been sent as earlier as last week. But the attention of the country has been drawn to a dramatic moment on a situation where Deputy President was to miss the event, ultimately came in later, and Raila Odinga walked out with Martha Karua. And there was that dramatic moment when this really happened. The question that Kenyans were asking is on why would you think that Raila Odinga walked out the moment there was intel that William Ruto was coming in. But I want us just to have a chronological understanding on what exactly happened in the Windsor Hotel. Raila Odinga walked in with Martha Karua, accompanied by their agents, Paul Mwangi, Ole Kanchori, Caroline Karogo, and the Raila Odinga's personal aides, and the rest of the team, and Njoroge, who I think was is the head of ICT on the Raila Odinga side. So the meeting was supposed to start at 9. And on the other side, William Ruto's team, his chief, the Secretary General, I think the Director General of his chief campaigns, that is the Turkana Governor Josephat Nanok, came in with the UDA leadership and just members of his campaign of his agents. So the meeting started off, but you'll see that Raila Odinga, Martha Karua all seated, while Deputy President and the team had not arrived. And Josephat Nanok mentioned that perhaps there was a mishap, there was a confusion in terms of changing the deadlines. Because Chebukati was saying he sent the invitation for the meeting to be at 9, but Josephat Nanok was saying that there was a change, that his team were a little bit confused whether the meeting was in the evening or in the afternoon. But remember, Deputy President William Ruto was in Tharaka Nithi in the morning to start off an economic forum there. By the way, I think this is the moment William Ruto was speaking in Tharaka Nithi.
Wakati unaenda kupiga kura, ujue mimi napiga kura kwa sababu hii serikali mimi nachagua itanipatia card ya NHIF. Sitalipa tena madeni ya hospitali. Hii serikali ninayochagua itapunguza gharama ya mbolea. Hii serikali mimi ninachagua itahakikisha ya kwamba kuna maji na barabara imetengenezwa ya kutoka hapa kwenda pale, na mimi nitapata pesa ya kuinua biashara yangu.
So this tells you that perhaps what Nanok was saying was just trying to justify the issue that Deputy President will be coming later on. Now, when Raila was given a chance to talk, he instead gave his agents the opportunity to say that I've come with my agents, and so my agents were going to address the IEBC. They addressed a couple of issues, and I remember the issue about the agents really bringing some sort of discomfort on the IEBC side. We are going to look at that. Now, Karua was left in the room because Raila stepped out earlier, and that is not captured. Now, there is only this video where Karua stepped out on the room, and she was saying that she was going to attend to some urgent stuff. So she interjected a speech by Mwaure, the Agano presidential candidate, and when she spoke, she just said that they are going to leave the meeting halfway, that did not say to the end. What I would see here is, what I know, Martha Karua was going to campaign in Homa Bay. I think Raila is going to be in Nyamira on the other side of Kirinyaga, I'm not yet sure. So Martha Karua was heading for a campaign rally. Raila Odinga had stepped out. Why do you think, what became so urgent that Martha Karua had left, that Martha Karua did not leave with Raila at the same time? Most probably, and I was talking to a journalist there, who was explaining that the moment they realized Raila was walking out, Raila went, and I think he retreated to some VIP, section. Then after retreating, it was when Raila was sitting in the VIP section that Martha Karua also stepped out to the other side, and then they walked out together. And I want you to look at this photo in your screen, because before you look at that photo, this is what transpired when Martha Karua left.
Na kaza kwamba mimi sijui kama nitaweza kupata maagent kote Madera na kwingineko. Unajua mimi sina pesa ya serikali ama ya kashfa ya kuandika maagent popote. And I have seen them do these things, but let me finish my point. Let me stick to the point.
Let's have some decorum in the meeting.
No. Yeah, yes, I'm talking the truth. Please run more campaigns, please, on educating on their rights. I agree with the honorable running mate. Allow people to use electronic gadgets to capture what's happening, because there's a lot of abuse that goes on there. And one more point from us, Bishop, very quickly.
We want to seek leave, attend to other matters, but we have a very robust team behind us. We apologize for leaving before the end. Wajackoya.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. My question is just direct.
President who was then arriving with Kithure Kindiki. And now if you see this photo here, this is the photo when the two sides were having the handshake. Deputy President with Kindiki and Raila Odinga with Martha Karua. So this happened, and immediately after this, Martha Karua did not address the media. In fact, she was saying that she has some urgent stuff. But Raila Odinga briefly spoke to the media before taking his car, and you'll realize before boarding his car, and you'll realize that it was a bit of timeline. They were really working on a timeline. Later on, the path man, Wajackoya, 10 minutes later, Wajackoya also walked out. Now look at this interesting time when Wajackoya was leaving.
Well, I can't answer at the moment. I'm rushing somewhere.
You could probably talk to us as you wait for your car to.
So that was when the Ganja Rastafarian was also leaving. Now, what I was, and we were just having some talk about this, is it a coincidence that Raila Odinga and Martha Karua walked out immediately the DP was making his way in? And if that will be, what do you think that also Wajackoya also walked out? Because the person who remained there, I think, was the Agano presidential Mwaure, the Ghana presidential candidate. But Wajackoya and Raila Odinga did not share the same room with William Ruto. Now, I am also, there's something that is not very clear. The same seat that Raila Odinga and Martha Karua were seated is the same seat where William Ruto and Kindiki went and occupied. So, were there seats for these two? Did IEBC organize for a session for Raila Odinga and the team, then William Ruto with the team? That is not it, because the meeting was start at 9 and all of them, and IEBC was expecting all of them. If that would be the case, then Nanok would not have explained to IEBC that William Ruto will arrive in that meeting later on. So I want us to look at it, because one thing that the journalists there are saying is probably William Ruto, after Raila Odinga left the room, I think his team did a text to Martha Karua to walk out of that meeting. Now, I want us to look at it critically, what might have played out in that IEBC consultative forum. One thing you can point out, and when you have time to access to maybe some of the few journalists that were there, there is a likelihood that if the initial plan was Raila and Martha Karua to be there briefly and leave, then they would have left at the same time. But the fact that Raila left and went and Raila left the room and Martha Karua remained behind could be that was the plan, that Martha Karua would remain with the agents. However, the moment Raila's team realized that William Ruto did not come with Rigathi Gachagua. Maybe that's the point, that Raila Odinga team changed their mind and then they texted Martha Karua to leave the room. Because you'll see that when William Ruto walked in, William Ruto was only with Kithure Kindiki. And of course, it's really creating a lot of eyebrows why Ruto dropped Gachagua in that critical meeting and he decided to go with the chief agent, even though on the other side, the IEBC had invited the presidential candidates and their running mates. It just goes back to the initial thing of, Gachagua at this meeting sometimes is not very good. Now, that could be the probability number one. But also look at it this way. Ruto had sent agents. And Raila Odinga team, imagine Raila was seated there with the William Ruto agents. So, like his agents were giving William Ruto's agents. I think what happened, Raila realized that for him, he could not sit in that meeting with the William Ruto's agents. That was a bit of the protocols and the optics are not that much, because you will see that photo will be taken of a point where Raila will point something, then the person responding the other side is an agent, or that was not it. So the moment Raila realized that William Ruto was not in, and of course they knew that William Ruto was in Tharaka Nithi, they decided then, because they were there alone, there is no need of them sitting there with again William Ruto, where they had come earlier and had started the session. So they might have decided that we've played our part, let him come and also play his part alone. Because I want you to imagine a situation where William Ruto walks in and Raila is seated, and so there is bit of that attention, and that will see bit of just some sort of bureaucracy, or rather, let me say, protocol orders. The issue of returning officers became very contentious, and the Raila's team were questioning why out of 290 returning officers, 100 are coming from one tribe, and that was Kalenjin. Remember this narrative, this report has been with us here for some time, but has been taken behind the carpet. Then out of 47 county returning officers, CROs, 10 are from, again, Kalenjin. That has been a question, and what to me would be an effect was, what would be an interest was whether it was given on merit or not on merit. Is it a coincidence that is it? It's a question of, but something you need to say, the county returning officers and the constituency returning officers are permanent employees of IEBC. They are only transferred. They can only be changed from so to the other. So some of them were employed before. The response by IEBC side trashing it off might have pissed off Raila Odinga's team, and they realized that as things were going by, the confrontation was going to be a little bit very unfriendly, or rather very unkind to the optics. And so they decided that the best was to make sure that Raila and Martha Karua leaves the room. And Raila Odinga team pointed out something on who is printing the ballot papers and the timelines and all that. But again, there is a feeling that Raila did not want to have very hard, because the questions were so tough. And Raila Odinga initially was being blamed that, look here, there have been election malpractices, and in previous elections he had been complaining, but on this one you've been keeping quiet. So he also didn't want that protracted argument in his presence. That could be what the presidential handlers look. But lastly, was someone avoiding optics with William Ruto? Because again, I ask a question, why would Wajackoya leave? Okay, Raila, Martha Karua had some urgent things to go to do. Wajackoya left, did not explain anything, and said, yeah, anaenda. He has something, he has some meeting to do. So, what exactly could also be happening, looking at also Wajackoya leaving, that this team did not want optics with the deputy president? This is an electioneering period, and of course, there is that difference in cluster. I've said that Ruto has projected himself as the one for the hustlers, and Raila Odinga has the traction of the middle class. So, and you never know, maybe whatever is happening in the campaign trail is creating acrimony between the two sides. Maybe the insults, Mzo Kitendawili and all that. This could still be playing out, and Raila Odinga might be saying that, look here, we are not going to do this. And any optics that will take the attention of the country will signal a post-election deal or a handshake before the election and all that. But all in all, that could be that William Ruto team would have seized an opportunity to do a propaganda against Raila Odinga on the basis of that. And that's when Raila decided that they are not going to share the same space with William Ruto. Remember what happened at Mwai Kibaki's burial? There was something, a small video that was edited, and William Ruto team ran with the narrative. So I think there was also something to try to avoid loopholes for political propagandas. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my bold.